Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and you are watching Welcome to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows on the Gaming Vector. This is the fourth title in this year's Summer of Arcade. It is a $15 downloadable title developed by Red Fly Studio and published by Activision. And it is a 1 to 4 player cooperative brawler. So let's jump in and take a look at the game as a whole. Once we select our storage device, of course. So the first few things we want to look at is take a look at our options. And as you can see, different sound volume sliders, which is always helpful. We do have a brightness slider. I would recommend turning that up just a little bit. You don't want to turn it up too high because it will kind of ruin the ambiance of the game. But by the same token, I think you'll see why it's better to have it turned up just a hair. Also, subtitles and show controller tips. I will leave both of these on. I'll kind of explain the controls as I go, and also you see some tooltips pop up as we play. Under extra features, you can simply look at the credits. You do have a leaderboard as well as your achievements. So what we're going to do is continue to the HQ. Once you get through your initial tutorial, you can go to the Turtles headquarters. And as you can see there, a nice little loading screen with Leonardo on it. That gives you an idea of what the characters actually look like in this game. It's a little bit different art style from the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's still fitting. So here, you'll see we are in the Turtles headquarters, and what we can do is we can go to the city map to select our next mission or to play online with other players. We can go to the workshop, we can view our stats, so on and so forth. So let's just run through these very quickly. First and foremost, here we can take a look at concept art. These are collectibles that you'll find throughout the game. There's a couple of the concept art for some of the enemies, and I don't know that there are any others unlocked over here yet. But you find these scattered throughout the game. These are all collectible items. If you're willing to go a little bit out of your way and look for them, they haven't been too difficult to find up to this point. If we go to the dojo, we can see number 1, Master Splinter is here. Number 2, we can look at our move list and learn each of the characters' unique moves. We can go into freestyle training and just practice against a wave of enemies. We can team training where we practice with the other characters, so on and so forth. Next up, the stats screen, which this should be pretty basic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the stats, but this is actually where you will be able to level up your characters. So, as you can see, you have all 4 characters. They all level up independently. I thought I actually spent some points. Perhaps I didn't. And you can also use the right bumper and left bumper to tab through several different options. So, for instance, this would just give Donatello a new final move for his combo weapon attack, which, as you can see, is basically spamming X. Unfortunately, the attacks in combat aren't that in-depth. There you can see stance counter, smoke evade, different specials by doing different controls, so on and so forth. These are all upgrades you can buy. You get points whenever you level up. You get 4 points per level, I believe. So, pretty basic upgrades. You can upgrade all of the characters, and you will actually want to do that. Now here, if we jump over to the workshop, we can see that all of the turtles also have a sort of alternate weapon. And I haven't actually gotten these unlocked yet, but you can see Leonardo gets a blade staff where he locks his swords together, Donatello the gravity gauntlet, Michelangelo gets the Kasaragama, and Raphael gets iron fists. So I haven't unlocked these yet or had a chance to play around with them, but they give you an alternate attack set and some new types of things to differentiate the characters from one another in combat. Speaking of the combat, let's go ahead and jump onto the map here, and we'll jump in and take a look at some gameplay. So, as you can see, there is a challenge mode that you can unlock to go through the chapter, and I'm assuming it's just a kind of score attack, probably time-based. There's Xbox Live, where we can start an online game session and play with other players in 4-player co-op. And then there are the campaign missions, where I'm going to resume from where I left off. Now, as you can see, it doesn't give me the ability to choose between the turtles to see which one I want to play as. That's because when you're playing solo, you can switch between the 4 of them at will. And I will show you that here momentarily.
Down in the tunnels. He went this way.
So here you can see we're actually playing as Leonardo. This gives you an idea of what the game looks like and what the character models look like. And by using the D-pad, we can actually switch between the characters at will. What that actually will allow you to do is extend your combos out longer by using multiple characters. Also, you can see that certain characters will have certain different items. So right now, Leonardo has shurikens, whereas Donatello has a health pack. I believe he may also have shurikens as well. Also, we are... How do I use my health pack? I cannot remember. There we are. Yeah, really need to use that health up, because I'm pretty hurt from the last section of the level we went through. So now, if you'll notice, the camera stays pretty close on the turtles, and that is probably my main complaint with the game. Let's just do a little sprint in here and beat these guys down. So, one of the main issues I have is the camera stays just a little bit too close on the characters. Because sometimes you end up fighting the camera to try and see where you're about to get hit from. Because this does have... Oh, I just got knocked out. Alright. This game does have a counter system, similar to the way that counters work in Arkham... Was it Arkham Asylum and Arkham City? Where you get an indicator that the enemy is going to attack you, and then you can counter them. And that's why I recommend turning up the brightness just a little bit, is because certain enemies with certain types of weapons will do different attacks that you will need to counter. Because of that... Let's actually switch turtles again here. Oh, another health pack. But it becomes very difficult to see what type of enemy... Or, yeah, basically to see what type of enemy you're going up against, what weapon he's using, until you actually turn the brightness up a little bit, which makes it a little bit easier to figure out what kind of attack you can expect from the guy and what you'll need to do to counter it, because there's, you know, just straight up counters, there's combo counters, there's ones that you need to evade in order to be able to attack them, and so on and so forth. And if they had just pulled the camera a little bit further back from the characters, I think it would be much, much better. As it stands, the combat is solid. It's pretty fun, and I could see it being a lot of fun online with 4 people. I don't know that you can play... See, down here, the camera's pulled back a decent amount to where I could actually be able to maybe counter some attacks and see what's going on. So, I don't know if maybe it's just a problem with the areas I've been up to this point, or what it may be. There you can see an actual power finisher. So maybe it was just an issue with the areas I've been up to this point, but I'm afraid that if that is the case, hopefully more areas will be a little more wide open like this, and less corridor type stuff. So a few other things that we can do. We can actually... I can't do it now, can I? It does not appear so. Ah, there. We can actually go into stealth mode. And while in stealth mode, we can tell everyone else to hang back, and we could sneak up and actually act like a ninja and, you know, take out enemies silently and try and make things a little easier on ourselves going ahead. Also, I'm not sure if I'm going the right way, but we're going to keep heading this way regardless. No, nothing over here. Fair enough. You can see you've also got a dodge roll. Your Y button is your kicks, whereas X is your basic attacks. B is your counter. Right trigger is a modifier, so you can do special attacks by doing that and swooping the analog stick around, the right analog stick. You can use your items with your left bumper. You can swap your items. How did I just swap that? Oh. Jay, you can swap between items. You can throw different shurikens. And I'm assuming you'll get some other stuff later on that will also give you some more abilities at range. So, where is he? There we go. Let's swap to Raphael. Now, one thing that I would say... Wow. One thing that I would say is a definite drawback, aside from the camera, is that the music gets very, very repetitive, as well as the one-liners from the turtles while in combat. What in the world did I just do? Oh, okay. The one-liners while in combat are also very repetitive. Oh, and a hacking game. Interesting. I haven't actually seen this yet. Okay, fair enough. What am I... How do I do this? Alright.
I have this theory.
Oh.
There could be alternate worlds. If the portals can go into an alien universe, they could go anywhere. Okay. There could be a world where Master...
So pretty basic hacking game, but it's very, very interesting at least. And this will actually let us get into the next area. So yeah, music and the one-liners get very repetitive very quickly. The combat is fairly fun and engaging, if a little bit hampered by the camera. Ah, so this should be an opportunity for us to actually show some of this sneaking. So if we can just get up behind these guys without them spotting us, maybe I can do some stealth takedowns. Or the guy can just turn around and come walking back this direction. You can see I've also got an energy drink there as my item that will allow me to boost my attack for a short time. So there you are, stealth knockout. And you can do those at pretty much any time from what I've seen. They don't really hinder you from being able to do that. So now that we've showed a little bit of the gameplay from here, I'm actually going to exit out to the main menu. Actually, let's return to the HQ. And I'll show you the one other game mode in Out of the Shadows, and that is the arcade mode. Now, honestly, I feel that the arcade mode is actually better than the campaign because... Well, let's just jump in and show you. What you can do in the arcade mode is, let's just pick Donatello, why not? So you can pick any of the turtles, and this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, and it goes through the same levels and enemy progression as the main campaign, but in this side-scrolling style. However, it retains the combat system, the combo, counter, and knockout combat system from the main game. And this is 4-player couch co-op, so you can actually play this mode with friends on your couch without having to have, everybody buy their own copy of the game. And because of the faraway camera angle, I feel that this is actually, for me at least, the preferred way to play the game, because what this actually gives us is the camera far enough back to be able to pull off those counterattacks, like that one right there. And since it maintains the same combat system, it makes it much, much easier to pull off those type of things. Now, the downside to this is that in order to unlock levels for the arcade mode, you have to actually play through the levels in the campaign, since it does follow the same progression. That's not to say that the campaign's bad. It's just not as good as I had hoped it would be. Also, a few other things you can do, such as this wonderful spin kick attack. There are also team attacks for when you're playing multiplayer, where two characters can get together and, you know, take out an enemy with a single attack. But what this basically boils down to is that the game is good if flawed. The sound could use some work, mainly the music and the one-liners. They either need to cut down how much the turtles talk, or they need to give them some more variety in lines. And that's just kind of fun to do. So, if you're planning on getting this and playing it as a single-player game, and never touching any of the multiplayer, unless you're a huge Turtles fan or you really like that style of gameplay, and you can look past the flaws that the game has, then I would be able to recommend it. If you're looking to play this cooperatively, or if you're looking to beat the campaign and then play couch co-op with, you know, friends and family, and playing couch co-op in this arcade mode, this I would recommend, because this is actually... as I said, it retains that combat system, which is deep, but it doesn't require... It's easy to learn, hard to master, is basically what it is. It doesn't require that you learn everything in order to be successful in it. But learning everything will make you not necessarily more successful, but you'll take a lot less hits, and you'll be able to dish out a lot more damage. So, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. $15 Xbox Live arcade title. Last title in this year's Summer of Arcade. It will also be out on PSN next month. I believe the end of September is the release date on PlayStation Network. I'm assuming it's a Microsoft exclusivity deal with Activision. And I would recommend this game if you are a Turtles fan, or if you like the style of gameplay from the campaign and can kind of look past the flaws that this one has. Or if you are planning on playing co-op, I think the game would be a lot of fun in co-op. Granted, that's not really an excuse. Everything is more fun with friends. Or if you're going to do couch co-op in the arcade mode, because I'm honestly having more fun with the arcade mode solo than I do with the campaign solo, and that says something about the design of the campaign. I would love to see this get a sequel. And I know they're... Oh, wow. Alright, let's get a respawn. Let's bring in Michelangelo here. There we are. But I would really like, once the Nickelodeon show, because that's what they based all of the characters in this off of, once they've gotten to the point where some more of the iconic villains are in there, because I haven't seen a single one of the iconic, you know, Bebop and Rocksteady, or Krang. I haven't seen Shredder yet, although I'm sure he's in the game. You know, once some more of those characters start getting into the television show, then I would really like to see them not necessarily remake this game, but make a sequel. Pull that camera, like, keep most of the stuff the same. Maybe add some depth to the combat and upgrades beyond what you have. But for the most part, keep the game the same. Just get more music tracks, get more voice acting dialogue, and get, you know, pull your camera back from the characters a little more. You know, give us an Arkham City style of camera when you actually get into combat, so that you can see a little better what you're actually doing and what you need to be countering and blocking. And I'm just going to go ahead and get us back to the headquarters here. And there you could hear just a tad bit of the repetitive music there as I was exiting the level. But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, $15 game. If you're planning on playing it co-op, you've got friends that are going to be picking it up, then by all means grab it. If you're not a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you're not a fan of these kind of brawler games, then there's really nothing here for you. And if you want to play couch co-op, just know that you will have to get through the campaign first, but then you can play the arcade couch co-op, which is actually a better experience than the campaign, at least up to the point that I am in the game. So, with all that being said, I have been your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and thank you for watching.